My name's David Green. I've got quite a lucky job really. I travel the world. I write and speak about people analytics and its role in the future of work. I also work with IBM customers on their people analytics journeys, and also increasingly how they're weaving in things like personalization and machine learning into their HR processes for employees. And then the third part of my role is I work for the Smarter Workforce Institute, which is IBM's research team, which is looking at aspects of the future of work, such as people analytics and employee experience. I think it's three things. I think number one, I think it can help the business have better outcomes, which and in doing so, it can help increase HR's impact in the business, which I think, to be fair, there's room for improvement. But I think the thing I'm most excited about, actually, particularly with some of the new methodologies and capability that's coming in, is it can really start to improve the employee experience and the well-being of people at work. And if that's not HR's role, then I don't know what is. I think it can really start to unlock insights that actually help drive a better employee experience and better health of employees at work. But I think it can start tying some of that to actually improve business outcomes as well. As I said, I think if HR is going to have relevance in the organisation of the future, it needs to start providing insights that actually have an impact on the business. And I think by having an impact on employees, you can have a positive impact on the business as well. Employees are demanding a different experience at work now. They want the sort of experience they get as a consumer, where things are personalised for them and information is pushed to them that is relevant. And we hear a lot about at this show here at HR Tech World around tools that do that. Well, unless you've got good data and analytics underpinning it, you're not going to be able to provide employees with relevant information. Well, that's a good question. I think that's where a lot of organisations struggle. I think the first thing they have to stop doing is stop looking at things in silos. So we want to improve recruitment. We want to use data to do that. That's fantastic. But once people join, then their experience of the organisation and onboarding, as you said, and all the way through. So I think we can improve that partly because things like engagement and performance are moving from a once-a-year event to something that is more continual. So you get the ability for people to provide feedback on a regular basis. I always think that people analytics is putting steroids on organisational network analysis, which is something obviously that's been done for a long time, but suddenly you're able to do it on a regular basis. It's less based on surveys, although probably you want to augment that in as well. And you can really start to understand the central nervous system of the organisation, what makes teams productive, what maybe impacts on burnout of your high performers. And I think that's information that the business wants to know, and it's information that HR wants to know, so they can devise programs that actually try and eliminate that. Well, I think you probably got me on the organisational network analysis. We saw Josh Burson this morning. He was talking about how, the HR systems of tomorrow perhaps are moving to understand and improve productivity. Well, I think, again, once you get into the central nervous system of the organisation and how it actually works, that's when O&A and people analytics powering that can really help to unlock what those insights are. And I think if HR can help solve the productivity problem in companies, then HR is going to have relevance and it's going to have impact. I think there's a skills and capability challenge with HR people generally, but what they have to remember is they don't have to become analysts themselves. They just need to either hire people who can do that work or work with people in the business who can. They need to be a bit more data fluent, I suppose would be a good way of putting it. But actually, I think the biggest challenge probably facing the space is a whole ethics and privacy debate. I mean, some of the tools that we're talking about potentially using, analysing email, analysing wearable data, there's lots of questions that need to be answered. I think you can answer that to some extent. Obviously, there's the law that we need to stay within, but I think the main way to answer that is if you can't articulate what the benefit is to the employees of doing something, then you probably shouldn't do it. And I think of all the functions within the business, I think HR is most likely to go with that kind of mindset. So, but I think the whole ethics versus employee benefit debate is probably the big discussion that we're going to be having over the coming years. I think it will be a core part of what HR does. I think it will underpin pretty much every HR program. I almost get the impression that we won't be talking about analytics so much because it will be a core component of each of the programs that we deliver. I'd like to think that everyone within HR, or at least the wide majority of HR, will be comfortable talking about data and insights and how it drives business performance and employee experience. But I'm an optimist. Well, I think I wish for it is a core component of HR. I believe that it is vital to the future of the HR function. And if we don't do it and do it well, then another part of the business will. And I suspect they will have more interest in business outcomes than they will in employee well-being and experience. So I think it's important for HR to grasp this opportunity.